Madhubatarithayate madhuksharanti sindhavaham madhve irna santoshadhi madhunaktam utoshasi madhumat parthivagum rajam madhujaurasuna pitam madhumanno vanaspatir madhumagumastu suryam madhvirgabho bhavantuna om shanti shanti shanti. May the winds blow sweetly, may the rivers flow sweetly, may the days and nights be sweet to us, may the trees and plants be sweet to us, may the sun shine on us sweetly, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful, may all beings be blissful. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. This burning, our subject is Thoughts on the Gita, part 86. We are starting the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna talked about his vibhuti, divine glory. In the last 3 chapters, 7, 8 and 9, Krishna talked briefly about his glory, but in this chapter he talked elaborately. God's glory. One can know God only by His grace. Arjuna began to know about Krishna when he revealed his true nature to him. In this connection, I shall tell you an incident of Swami Turiyananda's life, who was a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He thought that I can realize God by self-effort. I don't need a guru. Through self-effort. He started to practice Vedanta in his home. He met Sri Ramakrishna a few times, of course. So he was practicing meditation, studying the scriptures, and leading a very austere life. Once Sri Ramakrishna visited the Calcutta, Balaram's house is in North Calcutta, and he said to the devotees, that young boy used to come to me, but I don't see him anymore. Could you go and ask him to come and see me? Turiyananda's home was very close to Balaram's house, which is in the Bagh Bazar area. So one devotee went and called him, and he came, and he sat in front of Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna was talking about God's grace. Is it possible that a person have conviction this world is not real, and lust and gold are maya, without divine grace? Without God's grace, can you believe that this world is not real? Human power is very, very limited. So while talking in this way, he went into Samadhi. Then again he came back. In a semi-conscious state, he began to sing a song. Ure kushila, urishki gaurav, dharana dile ki parish dhorite. That is the song he sang. It is a song of Mahavir, Hanuman, Rama's devotee, when there is a war between Ajodhya and Kushila, they are the sons of Rama, but they did not know. So they are fighting against his father's army. And in that connection, they arrested Hanuman, tied him with a rope. So Hanuman was smiling and telling these two young kids, "You boys are very proud, thinking that you can tie me with a rope. If I do not yield myself to it, nobody can tie me. I am free. I can make myself free this very moment." So in this way he was singing and tears flowed from his eyes. And Chetanananda also began to cry, listening to that song. Later he mentioned that incident penetrates into my heart forever. That how Sri Ramakrishna gave that experience, that knowledge that God's grace is essential for God's realization. Then he quoted from the Upanishads, Nayamatma pravachanena ledbhu na medaya na bahuna shubsena. This Atman cannot be attained through speaking, talking, lecturing, through hearing, through intellect. This Atman can be realized by him whom the Atman chooses. Grace. Now, in this 10th chapter, we already finished 11 verses. In these 11 verses, Krishna talked about his own real nature, the true nature of the devotees, and grace. In the last verse, he says, Tesham eva nukam partham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayam atma bhavasto jnanodipena vashyata. Do you know what do I do to my devotees? I connect their intellect with me so that they can reach me. And then I light the lamp of wisdom in their hearts and destroy the gloom, the darkness forever. That I do, Krishna said to Arjuna. That also we read in the 11th verse of in this chapter. Krishna told the very beginning, you are my favorite. I love you. For the reason I shall not keep anything reserved. I shall express my whole heart to you so that you can understand me. So that started. So after listening these 11 verses, somehow Arjuna realized true nature of Krishna, that he is going to speak. You are the Supreme Brahman. Only you know your own glory. Then he was telling that, already in 3 chapters I talked about you. Did you not listen? Did you not put your attention to hear my words? I did. But the more I listened to you, the more my curiosity increased. So I want to know more. But in those chapters, in the beginning, I swallowed, just like you swallow some quinine mixture, bitter medicine. Sometimes I argued with you. In the 7th chapter, I just listened, I was overwhelmed. In the 8th chapter, you created more hunger to know about you. In the 9th chapter, you created tremendous lalasha. When I looked, I'm tempted. I am hooked. I am hypnotized. I want to know more. For the reason, because you know why? Because your ambrosial words, the nectar which you are giving to me, the more my desire comes to drink more and more and more. That he is talking about. The more I hear about God, the more I get to know more. Question arose. Very important. One day, Ramakrishna was asking him, "Are you satisfied?" 5 years you were listening to me. "Sir, I'm not satisfied at all. The more I hear, the more my longing, yearning increase. I'm not happy at all." Do you know what Sri Ramakrishna said? You will never, never, never be happy. God is infinite. Infinite. So you are with a finite mind, you are listening only this much, very small. You cannot, human beings cannot comprehend, cannot understand the whole God. So Sri Ramakrishna says, your satisfaction will never, never be fulfilled. Same position is in Arjuna's mind. I am not satisfied. I want to know more, more. That is the beauty. That is the way it has been set up. I want to know more about God. And the more you know, the more your hunger, yearning, longing increase. That he is talking about. Tripti sinnato nasti me amritam. A amrito, nectar, which I am drinking, which is unending. We had a Swami in Vrindavan, a Holy Mother's disciple, a disciple of Holy Mother. He used to read Bhagavatam every day. Somebody asked why? It increases devotion. The more I read, the more my love increases for God. I cannot help it. And when that situation arises, you are on the right track. Love, how to increase. Now we shall start. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said, Parang Brahma Parang Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. You are the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Abode, the Supreme Purifier, the Eternal, the Self-Luminous, Purusha, the primordial Deva, birthless and all-pervading. You see, Krishna lighted the lamp of wisdom in his heart. And with that light, Arjuna is seeing who is Krishna. In the previous birth, he lighted. His mind is illumined. So in the luminous mind, he is watching. Who is this Krishna? He is not only the charioteer of my wooden chariot. He is the charioteer of my life. I want him to guide my life. If God becomes the guide of your life, boom, you magic. That we find Swamiji's life. Ramakrishna is controlling him and guiding him. And that person never fails. Parang Brahma, Supreme Brahman. Brahman is Bringatotvat, vast. What is your conception of vastness? Big Pacific Ocean. A huge Himalayan mountain. big desert of Gobi. That is the way we have a little conception about it. All vast, infinite blue sky. That is the concept of the vastness of human beings. Ocean, space, huge mountain, or big desert, or cornfield of Midwest. These are the mile after thousands and thousands of acres. We see, oh my goodness. That is our concept. Brihmatattva, it is incomparable. All these things came from that Brahman. Paramdhama, abode. Why Parama abode? Because all human beings, all beings, the whole universe emanated, evolved from that Brahman, stay in Brahman and dissolve into Brahman. So he is the supreme abode. He is our real home. God is our real home. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. He purifies. Great purifier. The more you think of God, the more you will be pure. And the more you become pure, the more you will be happy. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam. You are that luminous one. You are the origin, Vibhum, past. This is the way Krishna, Arjuna first expressed. Look, few verses, Arjuna's understanding about Krishna. Ahustam Rishaya Sarve Devurshi Narada Stata Asito Devulu Vyasa Shayanchaiva Brivishime. So say all the rishis, the Devarshis, Narada, as well as Asita, Devala, Vyasa, he also say so unto me. Very interesting. It is not my understanding about you, it is the understanding of the great seers of truth. Who are those sages? Devarshi Narada, great devotee of Krishna, Vishnu. Vyasa, the great sage, Asita, Devala. These are the rishis. Who are the rishis? Mantradrashtara. Those who are the seers of truth, they are called rishis, illumined souls. Even they also testified my experience that you are that supreme reality. Not only that, what other people say doesn't matter. Shayan Chaiva Brabhishime, you yourself is telling me. That is a great statement. Oh, I shall talk to you about it. You know, some years ago, I was in Portland, Oregon. So a devotee said, I have some letters of AIM. Will you take it? AIM's own handwriting, the person who recorded the gospel. I can sure bring for me. That devotee brought a few postcards which are reaching to Devatmananda, who was the head of that center. He died, so he got all the letters. And those letters she gave to me. That letter is still with me here. There AIM was writing about Sri Ramakrishna. Shayan Chaiva Brabhishime, that AIM wrote in a big letter. Master himself declared who he was. I am that Satchidananda. I have taken this human birth. I am Rama. I am Krishna in previous age. In this body I am Ramakrishna. Swayanchaiva Brabhishime. You yourself declared who you are. Human beings cannot comprehend infinite God. Sri Ramakrishna used to tease Ramchandra Datta, who was a doctor, and Girish Chandra Ghosh, who was a theatre manager and actor. Sri Ramakrishna said, Ram Morakata doctor and Girish theatre and manager, and they declared that I am an avatar. What do they know about avatar? Here is Ram Datta, he is a doctor who does some surgery, and Girish is a theatre manager, and they declared what concept they have about God. Sri Ramakrishna teased them. He asked Keshav Chandra Sen, Brahma Lejar, what do you think about me? Sir, you have 16 parts, complete 100% knowledge of Brahman, God, and devotion. You know, Sri Ramakrishna told to him openly. He is such a great leader. Keshav, I do not accept your words. If Narada, the great sage, Shukadeva, the illumined soul, if they would tell me that, I would accept their words. But you are slave to lust and gold. And you are declaring me that I am God. I do not accept your words. How can you comprehend that infinite God? Chaitanya also says, Mui sei, I am that God, I am that God. Christ also declared, I and my Father are one. He who has seen me has seen the Father. That means he is declaring, Avatar is declaring his divinity. That is saying, Shanchaiva Prabhishime. You yourself is telling me that you are God. That is a great proof about your divinity. Next verse. Sarvam etad ritang mani yanmam vadashi keshava nahi ste bhagavan vyakting viduh deva na danava. I regard all this that you say to me as true, O Keshava. Verily, O Bhagavan, neither the Devas nor the Danavas know your personality. I agree. Whatever you say, I accept. Even the gods and the Danavas, the demons, human beings, nobody can know you fully, Lord. Sri Ramakrishna told a beautiful story. At night time, the police sergeant came to visit the city. Whole city was dark. He has a bullhorn lantern. With that light, he is watching the whole city. He is in darkness, but you cannot see his face. But with the light, he is seeing everything. So if you want to see the face of the police sergeant, you will have to tell him, Sir, could you turn the light on your face? The bullhorn, that one-pointed light. Can you turn that light on your face so that I can see you? If he is agreeable, then he can turn the light on his face, then only can see him. So you see God by God's grace. That's Sri Ramakrishna said. It is the police sergeant, if he does not turn the light on his face, you cannot see him. He is behind that light. Swayameva atmanatmanam vettatam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Verily, you yourself know yourself by yourself. O Supreme Purusha or person, O source of beings, O Lord of beings, O Deva of Devas, O ruler of the world. Swayameva atmanam vetta. You know yourself. There are two ways you can know. One is called Swasangvedda, another is called Parasangvedda. Whether you have realized God, whether or not, only you know. How do you know? You become completely desireless. You have no desire. And if you have no desire, do you know what that means? That means your ignorance is gone. Shashangbedda. That is a very good word in Vedanta philosophy. Seeing your face, I do not know whether your stomach is full or not. Only you know. See, all these people are here, whether their stomach is empty or full, seeing their faces, I cannot tell you. Only you know your stomach is full or not. That is called Shashangbedda. Or Parashangbedda, seeing your life. I read the scriptures. There, the signs of the illumined souls are there. Seeing those signs, I can put on you and can check whether you are illumined or not. This is the two ways we can know. But Parashangbedda may not be 100% correct. You may pretend, oh, hi, my stomach is full, showing your smiling face. Actually, your stomach is empty. So we really do not know Parashangbedda too much. But if I live with you for a long time, then I can check. That is the way it goes. Shashangbedda, Parashangbedda. You see, sometimes people come and say, sir, have you seen God? Once somebody came to Swami Madhavananda and said, Maharaj, have you seen God? He told him, I am not Ramakrishna and you are not Vivekananda. He wanted to check. Well, I am not Ramakrishna. You have come to me and asking me as if I shall answer Ramakrishna. That yes, I have seen God and I can show you. Ramakrishna monks never will beat the drum that we have seen God. I remember there was a monk in Vrindavan. Somebody asked him a question. Maharaj, have you seen God? He said, no. But one thing I can tell you, last 50 years, I worked for Sri Ramakrishna. That I can tell you. Wholeheartedly, I gave my life to Sri Ramakrishna. That much I can tell you. We knew that he was a great, great monk. He died in Vrindavan, day and night repeating mantra. That's a good answer he gave. Bigataramare kena bijaniyad. Who can know the knower? You cannot know the knower. Do you know what does it mean? It means God is never an object. Brahman is never an object. You know only an object. God is eternal subject. So how can I know myself? Can you sit on your own shoulder? You may be a great athlete. Can you sit on your own shoulder? No. So which happens, last night, 2 words, I was struggling. Vritti Vappu, Pholo Vappu. Do you know how does it work? I am some meditate, I am Brahman. I am Brahman. I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. What happens when this person repeats that mantra, Aham Brahmasmi? He is giving this example. Here is a chair. My intellect has a luminosity. Atman, that Chidabhash, they call it, that consciousness reflects on the buddhi. With that reflected buddhi, I put on the chair. Then do you know 2 things happen? The moment I put my intellect, luminous intellect, on the chair, the darkness, the ignorance, the unawareness of the chair goes away. I see it is a chair. My buddhi, my intellect with full conviction says, it is a chair. But so the buddhi is focused on the chair. Listen how that just goes. and the consciousness manifests it. Buddhi does not have the light. Light is in Brahman. So it manifests it. So two things happen. This buddhi destroys the ignorance, and this consciousness manifests the object. That is the way you get all knowledges in this world. That is called fall. Fall means result. When the Atman reflects on the buddhi becomes luminous. With this luminous intellect, we get the knowledge of this whole world. Your medical science, whatever you have, everything you know through this reflected buddhi. But actually buddhi is maya, darkness, ignorance. But it is a very beautiful instrument. And when it is connected with consciousness, it becomes luminous. The more it becomes, then finally what happens? When the buddhi is fully luminous, you become illumined. Your ignorance goes away. At that time, what happens? Your individuality goes away. Sri Ramakrishna said, a salt doll going to measure the depth of the ocean and melted instantly, it becomes ocean. So this little ego merges into that cosmic consciousness and becomes one with Brahman. That is called illumination. That is called knowledge of Brahman. At that time he feels I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. That is the secret of Vedanta philosophy anyhow. Bhaktum ahorshi ashishina divyahi atma vibhutayaha yavi vibhuti vi lokan imam tam vapputishtasi. It behoves you to speak without reserve about your divine attributes, by which, filling all these worlds, you exist. You only can speak about yourself fully. I can, none else. Your vibhuti, your glory, your power, infinite. Who can comprehend it? But Sri Ramakrishna used to give some indications. A small ant went and picked up a small particle of sugar and was returning to the hole, its home. And it was thinking, next time when I shall come, I shall take the whole sugar mountain and take to my hole. How Sri Ramakrishna was trying to describe that infinite and finite nature of these things. Very interesting. Divyahi atma yavi vibhuti vi lokan imam tam vapputishtati. You pervaded this whole world. God manifests this whole universe and he gives knowledge to human beings, otherwise they would be all matter. Katham vidyam aham yogin tvam sada purichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintosi bhagavan maya. How shall I, O yogi, meditating on you always, ever know you in that thing, in what things, O Bhagavan, are you to be thought of by me? I really like to meditate on you, but I do not know how. I see this whole universe in front of me. Teach me, how shall I meditate, seeing this variety, multiplicity, diversity? Which is a very, very interesting thing. Look what Thakur said. When you close your eyes, you see God exists. When you open your eyes, do you think God does not exist? চোখ খুললেই ভগবান আছেন, চোখ বন্ধ করলে ভগবান নেই. I see God both ways. When I close my eyes, I see God. When I open my eyes, I see God. That called Jnana Vijnanam. That is called Vijnan. Do you know what is the difference between Jnana and Vijnan? Sri Ramakrishna said, you know milk, white cow milk. You read in the book that it is very nutritious and all these things, good qualities, this and that. But you have never drunk milk. When you drink milk, you get nourishment, you get strength. That is called Vijnan. And Jnana is to see milk. I know white milk, but you have never drunk it. If you do not drink, you will not get strength and nourishment. That is called Jnana Vijnana. I have the knowledge of the milk. And when I drink it, I get nourishment. That is called Vijnana. I have a watch. I do not know anything, mechanism of this watch at all. I know that when the battery is down, dead, I go and I can please change my battery. That much I know about this watch. But if you go to the manufacturer of the watch, he will tell you the balance and all those things. Very many tiny parts are there in this watch that you do not know, I do not know. The manufacturer knows and the repairman knows. That is called Jnana Vijnana. I have the knowledge of the watch, but I do not have a special knowledge that the manufacturer and the repairman knows, watch repair person. Do you see the difference between Jnana and Vijnana? That is the way it works. So Krishna, Arjuna is telling, I have some kind of superficial knowledge about you, but I really do not know what it is. Keshu keshu chu bhaveshu. In whatever way I can meditate on you, that will teach me. I see this whole manifested universe in front of me, but I have very little knowledge. That is the reason. When we go for initiation, our Guru gives the chosen deity called Ishta. Meditate on your chosen deity. When you get the experience of that vision of chosen deity, you will see that chosen deity is everywhere. Jatha jatha chokhu pade tatha tatha Krishna spure. Wherever my eye falls, I see Krishna and nothing but Krishna. That happens when you are illuminated. At that time, you do not see Shaitan, devil, anything. Nothing. You will see God in everything, in every being. That Krishna, that Arjuna is telling, Keshu Keshu Bhaveshu. I see so many things. Tell me that how can I meditate on you? In this glory, in this manifestation, this whole universe, you say came out of you. How shall I meditate? If you try to meditate all at a time, you will be confused. And meditation does not go that way. 1. Vistarina atmana yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuya kathayo triptithi shinnato nasti me amritam. Speak to me again in detail, O Janardana, of your yoga powers and attributes, for I am never satiated in hearing the ambrosia of your speech. That I already told you. Bhuyo kathaya. Tell me again and tell me again. Tell me again. More, more, more. I remember a funny story. I remember I was in college. First or second lecture on the economics, a professor came. He was a very old man, Vaishnava or Mala and all these things. The topic was human wants. That was the topic. I think it was first or second lecture on economics. He is telling Chahida, wants, human wants, what is it? And how does it work? The whole economic system in this world depends upon wants. Demand and supply. If there is no demand, there is no supply. If you do not want to buy any car, the car manufacturer will not produce any more car. The whole world is depending on demand and supply. See all the big departmental stores, Macy and other things, all demand and supply. If you do not go and buy, their business will collapse. Whole car industry, wherever you go, demand and supply. So he gave first lecture that how it works. Then he made a joke. One of the main characteristics of human wants is it is insatiable. It will never be satisfied. Then he gave a very funny example. But here is a drunkard. He drank up to this. I got bottle after bottle, it came up to the mouth. Whole stomach is full, whole this, passage is full, it came up to this. Wine, alcohol. Then do you know what does he say? Well, at that time he forgets his mother language. He says, aur le aao. Bring more. He is up to the brim, up to this his alcohol, and he is asking more because he is intoxicated. So he was talking about which is insatiable, human wants, always creating wants. I remember once Swami Gombirananda, he was then, I think, president. So I wrote a letter to him, Maharaj, I am coming from America, shall I buy something for you? Do you know what he wrote? No, I have everything, I don't need anything. Then I wrote him back, Maharaj, I am now meditating on your desires. Let me see whether I find any. If I find any, I shall buy for you. Then he wrote me back, you meditate on my desires, find out whether you can find any or not. I shall never forget that story. No, that is a sign of an illumined soul. No wants. Shukadeva narrated the glory of Krishna to Parikshit, Arjuna's great grandson. But he was not happy. He said, I listened to all your stories about Krishna, but I am not fully satisfied. I want to listen more. Sri Ramakrishna told the same thing to him. Swami Ranganathananda, in his lectures, he made some remarks about understanding God. He's talked about in India how religion is appreciated. A Buddha, he denounced many of the religious practices of that time, and yet nobody harmed him. We all respected him at that time. He was treated as an enlightened one. Today, Vivekananda, he has criticized the foibles of the Indian society more fiercely than anybody, and yet we admire him. He's a great soul. Then he talked about Christ, that if he was in India, he would not be crucified. Then he mentioned, I especially mentioned the late Pope of the Catholic Church who visited India some years ago. Not the recent Pope, but the earlier Pope. In one of his observations in Bombay, this was reported in the Roman Catholic paper in Rome. He asked his assistant, "Who are these thousands of people here? Are they Catholics?" "No, sir." "Are they Christians?" "No, sir." "That means they are all Hindus, majority of them Hindus." Then he said, "That is what I see as the greatness of this country. These Hindus came to see in me not the head of the Catholic Church, not the head of the Christian religion, but a man of God." That is India. Swami Ranganathananda gave a lecture in Hyderabad that he mentioned here. Now, Arjuna's question is done. Now, Krishna is answering. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Hantate kathayishami divyahi atma vibhutaya pradhanyata kurushreshta nastyanto visarayasame. Oh yes, I shall speak to you now, O best of the Kurus, of my divine attributes according to their prominence. There is no end to the particulars of my manifestation. Hanta, as you requested, definitely I shall talk to you. My divine glories. But let me tell you, I shall tell you only the important ones, not the tiny, because whole world is my glory. Sometimes, we see good and evil. A devotee came from India. He has sugar plantations in Gujarat, near the sea coast. He was telling me that, "Swami, people are afraid of cobra, snake. But I need cobras for my sugar plantation." Why? Because these cobras eat all the insects and bad worms which may ruin my sugar plants, cane sugar. But they are very effective. They are protecting my sugars, sugar canes. I was really, even God dwells in, look, it is unthinkable. Oh, snake, kill the snake, poisonous cobra. That is also needed. So God is in everything, in every being. I shall talk to you. Krishna says, but there is a verse in the Shiva Mohimna Stotram. Asito girisamam syat kajjalam sindhu patri suraturvara shakha lekhuni patra murvi likhuti yadi gritva sarda sarvakalam tadapi tapu gunanamisha param nayati. If the Himalayan mountain is the ink, the ocean, the ink pot, this whole universe is the paper, the celestial tree in heaven is the pen, and if the goddess of learning writes eternally, still, O Lord, your glory will not be ended. So Lord's glory cannot be ended. Krishna says, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarve Bhuta Shaya Sthita Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Antaiva Cha. Listen, I am the Self, I am that Brahman, Supreme Reality. O Gudakesha, existent in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. Very good introduction. Krishna is talking about himself. Gudakesha. Gudakesha means two meanings are there. One meaning is Jito Nidra. Arjuna has full control over the sleep. That is the word Gudakesha. Gudakesha means also with heavy dark hair. Aham Atma. I am the Atman, the source of all beings. All beings dwell in me. I am in the beginning, I am in the middle, I am in the end. You know, there is one word in the Upanishad called Prajnana Ghana. Consciousness. Do you know how do I look at it? A chunk of salt. It's outside, inside, everything is salt. Nothing but salt. Which is in the Shetaketu, in the Chandogya Upanishad. Father says, the thing exists but you do not see. Why? You really want to know that God exists and you do not see? You want to know it? Yes. Bring a bucket of water and a chunk of salt, rock salt. The son brought the bucket of water, drop the salt in that water. Did it? Go. Next day the sun came. How is the salt? I do not see the salt. But you put it last night. A big chunk of salt. Yes, I did. Taste it from the top. Saline. Middle, saline. Bottom, saline. The salt is pervaded everywhere in that water, correct? Yes. But you do not see it. That is true, sir. That is the way God pervades in everything. That pure consciousness is everywhere, but you cannot see it. You know how the great sages explain this greatest truth through examples. But how this vast universe came from that tiny that consciousness. But bring a banyan seed. Banyan seed is very small. Break it. What do you see? It is broken. Nothing. Very small. But there is a tremendous potentiality in that seed. From that seed came this huge banyan tree. From tiny, huge. That is the way Brahman has been manifested in this world. In the Upanishad also we find Tvam Istri, Tvam Pumanoshi, Tam Kumara, Utoma Kumari. You are the man, you are the woman, you are the young girl, you are the young man. You are an old man tottering with a stick. And you are pervading everything. I am the self hidden in the hearts of all beings in this world, not in the heart of Hindus only or Vaishnavas only. No, in the heart of all beings. I am the self, like the thread that runs through a garland of pearls, making for the unity of the pearls. That is what Sri Krishna described in the Gita, in the 7th chapter. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre munigana iba. So here he says, I am the self, the Atman, in the heart of all beings. Ants, worms, animals, human beings. There is not anything in the world in the heart of which the divine spark is not there. That is a supreme truth which can be highly appreciated by unprejudiced physical scientists today. Look how it works. Swamiji says, here is a huge locomotive engine pulling perhaps 100 cars, rail trucks, rail cars. And when it goes with a tremendous sound and the whole ground shakes and moves. We see tremendous power in that locomotive engine. But that power has no freedom. It is guided by a driver, train driver, rail driver. But here is a tiny ant, perhaps crawling over that railway track. The moment it feels that something is coming on the track, it has freedom to move away from it and saves his life. That is called life. Where there is consciousness, that is the sign of life. The locomotive engine does not have the sign of life. It is just power. But this tiny ant has the life. It can protect itself. It can move. It has freedom. That is Vedanta teaches. Freedom. Consciousness. I am beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings in this world. That is the nature of the ultimate reality. And repeating this point, let me state that the way Indian philosophy approaches the subjects of cosmology can be perfectly acceptable to any astrophysicist of the modern period. They also trace everything to the one behind the many. Everything is here. But in the beginning it was undifferentiated. Now it has become differentiated as the universe. That is astrophysics. That is also Vedanta. But the astrophysicist will call it a material something. Vedanta calls it pure consciousness, infinite and non-dual. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Swami Rangarathananda quoted from the Tao of physics. The Brahman of the Hindus, the Dhammakaya of the Buddhist, and the Tao of the Taoist are more complete background realities of the universe than what physical science gives us today. Physical science explains only the material universe. What about the non-material aspect of the universe? They can't explain it. But we can explain both. Therefore, he said that this is the comprehensiveness of the Indian approach to the nature of the cosmos. So Krishna says, I am the Atman in all beings. From God we came, in God we exist, and to God we return. Using the word God in the Vedantic sense of the term, not something extra-cosmic, but as the one primordial reality, as the infinite consciousness, which has spread out in the vast universe in which you and I live. Anyhow, I shall stop here today. So Krishna says, Aham Atma. I am in the beginning, I am in the middle, I am in the end. So we are coming from God, we live in God, and we merge into God. We do not see the 2 pages of the book of our lives, which are missing. We do not know where we come from, we do not know where shall we go. So the scripture teaches us to find out those 2 missing pages. Where do we come from? Where shall we go? Upanishad is very clear about it. Yato va imani bhutani jayanti, yena yatani jivanti, yat prayanta visambhishanti, tad vijiggasasva, tad brahmeti. This whole creation evolved from that Brahman. It exists, remains in Brahman. It merges into Brahman. That is our real home. This world just a temporary place, holiday inn, temporary. Our real home is God. That Krishna will tell more elaborately in the remaining verses His divine glory, where He is, and how to meditate on Him. Thank you. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayati girim yat kripa tamam bandi paramananda madhavam. I bow down to that Madhava, Krishna, the embodiment of supreme bliss, by whose grace the lame scale mountain and the dumb become eloquent. May Krishna be the guide of our lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.